and welcome to my YouTube channel. Ink on my thumb, yeah. Today I am painting Sailor Mars, and I will list all of my materials below in the comment box. But I thought it might be fun to walk you through my process. So I started with water on the paper first, and then I used Koh-i-noor Drawing Ink. And I don't normally paint with the wet and wet technique, just because I tend to work small and I really like to have control of the paint and the details that I'm putting in. But I really love using the wet on wet technique when I'm doing the background, and this ink reacts really interestingly with water and it expands in ways that I can't really predict. So I like how it creates unique and unusual textures. Apologies for the lighting change. I actually started this painting earlier in the day and couldn't get it finished or really sit down and do it until later on, and by then I'd lost the morning light. Yeah, so I decided to do Sailor Mars because as a kid I was obsessed with Sailor Moon. Nowadays I'm probably more obsessed with the artwork, but yeah, no shame, I'm still a Sailor Moon fan. Also, apologies if I totally ramble. It happens. I can't help it. I cannot stop talking once I get started. I usually go on Pinterest to find reference images and kind of pick and choose different images that have aspects that I like. So I'll find a picture where I like the angle of the model's head, or I like another picture where the model is, positioning her arms in a certain way, or I'll find a picture of a hand to see what it looks like when it's holding something. So I just had to adjust her headpiece there because I realized I had painted it in too high to begin with. Now you can see me working in the details, so I'm using a really small brush so that I don't end up botching up her face. I definitely, in this case, avoided looking at pictures of Sailor Mars and other artists' takes on her, just because then it would be way too easy to accidentally copy, and I didn't want to copy another artist's work. Here I am using my watercolor paints and doing the wet on dry technique, so I have more control about how it's going to look. And I sketched this beforehand and didn't film that process just because I change my mind so often when I start sketching that it would take way too long and my camera batteries would probably die. That happens to me all the time. I forget to charge the camera, or I don't pay attention to the memory card. So to avoid that, I just skip filming the sketch process. So once I do the background and fill in the figure with watercolor, you will see me switch to an ink pen to make more details pop and give it more definition. This is something I've always done. I know some artists will use these pens before they begin, and that totally works as well, but every time I've tried that, it just never worked for me. So, sorry, my hand's blocking a lot of it. And you kind of see my nose stick in every now and again as I get really close to try and see what I'm doing. Yeah. And then after that, I come in with a white gel pen to make accents and highlights and give it a little bit of an extra something. I don't know what you'd call that, but I do like the way it looks. And I also use this gel pen to create the star effect in the background to make it feel like a galaxy. And this is a bit of a tedious process, and I could totally use gouache for this, but my pen was right there. So sometimes I'll use gouache, sometimes I use the pen. It just depends what I reach for that day. And yeah, thanks for watching and thanks for listening to me ramble, and I hope you enjoyed this process, and hope to catch you in the next video. Bye!